Of 15 minutes. Very much apologize. I know there's people dedicate their time to coming to board meetings, but we will now say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you, and my apologies again. The mission of the City School District of Albany is to educate and prepare all students for college and career, citizenship and life in partnership with our diverse community. Superintendent Adams.
Good evening, Madam President and members of the board. Several middle school students came to us during the school day today with information about a potential social media concern. The students informed staff that beginning tonight and continuing into Friday morning, there may be a social media event that they refer to as Exposure Day. This could include posting or sharing of photos or videos intended to shame, embarrass, humiliate, intimidate, or otherwise, quote, expose other students. We took this information very seriously, and our team has mobilized very quickly to share information with our families and staff. A copy of the letter is available here tonight and also at albanyschools.org. We are urging our parents and guardians to talk with their children about the importance of avoiding inappropriate behavior in any form, including social media. Any shaming or embarrassing of other students online or in any context is considered a form of bullying and harassment under the Dignity for All Students Act and a violation of our Student Code of Conduct. We also have provided our families with information to help them talk with their children if they believe that they may be having a difficult time. And examples could include sadness, anger, frustration, depression, or anxiety. I would also like to commend the students who brought this information to our attention today. Parents, we're asking that you please talk to your children about the importance of letting you know, notifying a school official or another adult, so that we may, if they encounter a situation, so that we may help them with addressing these concerns. Student safety is a team effort. We appreciate our families' partnership in this very important work. At this time, I'd like to provide you with a transportation update. We still have a few concerns that are still coming in. The district and First Student are addressing our parent concerns as they come in. Calls have reduced, but we are still receiving about 3 to 5 calls each day. The steps that we've taken over the past week, we've looked at outsourcing single routes, route adjustments of approximately 34 routes so that we can reduce some of those transportation times. The district now has access to the GPS. The response ranges, the response time to our parents ranges maybe, if not immediate, within 24 hours. First Student has 3 managers on site as of Monday, September 25th. They have held a job fair yesterday, and 2 job fairs will be conducted on 10/21 and 10/22 in order to assist with bus drivers so that we can increase that particular employee group. They are also looking at Monday incentives. That's under consideration to help incentivize people coming to work on Mondays so that it doesn't increase in a shortage of drivers on Mondays as we start the week. The notification process, if buses are running late, we have enhanced that, and they have also implemented radio sweeps during route checks so that they can ensure if buses are on time. We now have 5 driver trainers to work with the monitors who are interested in becoming drivers. Our next steps include weekly check-ins with First Student. They will also attend the board meeting tonight. A representative will come and give us an update from the company's perspective. We will continue tracking the transportation concerns and continue actively responding to our parents. And we're also putting together our plans for the upcoming weather conditions so that, when there's snow and buses may be running a little bit late, what will our process be? I would also like to provide a few updates about our progress at O'Neill Middle School. Work has been completed on the heating and cooling system. Those systems are now fully functional. We are nearly complete with the renovations of the gym, and we expect our students to be able to use the gym beginning Tuesday. So we are really excited about that. Co-principals Malik Jones and Candy Antonetti also continue to work closely with the Albany Police Department and the city's traffic engineering services staff to improve the pedestrian safety in the neighborhood, especially on North Lark Street. The city will be repainting the crosswalks in front of the school, and we are also in discussion about the possibility of a four-way stop at both 2nd and 3rd Streets. O'Neill also changed its dismissal procedure beginning today so that all students leave the building using the side entrances rather than the main entrance on Lark. We believe this will help with student safety. I will update you about additional measures as we move forward. A reminder that all schools will dismiss 15 minutes early on Friday to participate in the annual Go Home Early Emergency Preparedness Drill. All of our after-school programs and activities are canceled with the exception of athletics. Please visit albanyschools.org for more information. Also a reminder that all of our schools and offices will be closed on Monday in observance of Columbus Day. At this time, I'd like to welcome Matthew Petran. He is our new HR administrator, so welcome and thank you. And we have our presentation tonight from Principal Zulika Sanchez-Gale to help step forward for a brief presentation about the great things that are happening here at Sheridan Prep Academy. And she has a guest with her as well.
Good evening. So I'm gonna start. My name is Suleika Sanchez-Gale, and I am going to introduce one of my 5th graders, Yasmina Giles Sumter, and she just has a very quick statement about being a 5th grader here at Sheridan Prep.
Hello, my name is Yasmina Giles Sumter. I am 9 years old, and I am a 5th grader here at Sheridan Prep. I have been at Sheridan Prep since pre-K, and I love my school. Being a 5th grader, especially because we get to change classes for math, science, writing, reading, and social studies. 5th graders get to be a safety patrol, and if we get a power pass, we can walk to our classes by ourselves. I really like the math books and the books from Wonders because they are really nice. I really love going to Sheridan Prep, but I am excited about going to middle school soon. I hope to see my friends there.
You did a good job.
That's a tough act to follow. All right, so welcome to Sheridan Preparatory Academy. I am the principal. My name is Suleika Sanchez-Gale, and I have been at the school for 8 years now. So our mission statement is that Sheridan Preparatory Academy believes that all teachers, students, and family members will expect the best in all we do, learn all we can, and strive to achieve our full potential. Our mission statement is related to our school pledge, which our students recite 3 days a week. We thought it was really important to have those two things be related so that it could be meaningful to the kids. So, a little bit about Sheridan Prep. We have a total of 424 students on Beds Day. 24 of our students are special education students, and we have 55 ENL students. We have 23 classroom teachers, including 1 special ed self-contained classroom and 2 co-teach teachers. We have a co-teach kindergarten and a co-teach 5th grade. We have 2 ENL teachers to support the learning needs of our ENL population. We have 4 reading teachers and 1 literacy academic coach who is in-house in our building. We have 6 teaching assistants, including 3 for the self-contained classroom. We have 1 who's a K2 teaching assistant, but he actually works specifically with K1. We have 1 ISS TA, and we have a one-on-one TA in the kindergarten. We have 7 special area teachers, 3 hall monitors, including 1 hall monitor that is stationed in our reception area to welcome visitors to the school. We have 2 maintenance workers and 1 4-hour cleaner. I think Corey is here, our 4-hour cleaner, and he's working hard for you guys today. And we are a full-service school. And what that means is we have a Parsons Mental Health Satellite Clinic here on staff. Parsons typically has 2 professionals that work here. At this time, we only have 1. We also have Whitney M. Young. They have a satellite clinic here, and they provide our students with medical care if the students sign up for it. We also have a behavior support team with 1 social worker, a school psychologist, and a full-time behavior specialist. Since becoming a community school, we now have a homeschool coordinator and a community school psych coordinator, and we also have 2 administrators. I am one of them. My assistant principal is Tina Marie Cascone. She's at home taking care of her mommy. So I'm going to talk to you about our school improvement plan, or our school comprehensive education plan. We're really early in the school year, so just to review how we did last school year. We did meet all of our SMART goals in our tenants, where we were hoping to see a 5% growth in our student growth percentiles in NWEA. My BLT and I, when we were reviewing our SET plan and the achievement of this goal, one of the things that we were conversing about, or we were trying to be thoughtful about, was why or how did we achieve our goal. And that conversation between us really led us to feel like we really didn't know exactly, we couldn't pinpoint the specific reasons why we were able to meet our goals, and that left us a little bit unsettled. And so when we sat down to write this year's school comprehensive education plan, we were really trying to be very thoughtful about how could we measure without a shadow of a doubt that what we're doing is actually the reason why our students are growing. And so, you know, our school improvement, our school comprehensive education plan is really about us walking into our potential with a little more focus and purpose. So some of the things that we've already been able to accomplish in the few short days that school has started is that the school administrators have begun their informal walkthroughs of classrooms to provide feedback on instructional practices. Our ELA and math coaches have met with teachers and grade levels, and professional development is planned to be responsive to school data. We have been especially creative with the use of our schedule and all of the human beings that we have in our building. Our school building, every Friday morning, we have something called morning program where the entire school meets, comes together, and we do presentations. We acknowledge the positive behaviors in the school. We talk about specific themes that might be happening in the community, or we bring in community partnerships as well. And so instead of having adults kind of just sitting and watching something that's really geared towards the children, we have decided that we're going to use that half-hour time to actually kind of give like little shots of PD to teachers. So for the last couple of weeks, we've had our kindergarten team and our first grade team meet with our behavior specialists during that time to talk about setting up classroom expectations and classroom culture. And my academic coach, she met with the 5th grade team that is departmentalized to try to build some cohesiveness in their instructional practice, and she also met with my 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade ELA department because we are departmentalized in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grades. So we're finding that just doing something as small as dedicating that half hour every week to something that is really meaningful has actually, I think, made people feel really purposeful. So I'm really excited about how we're using our morning program time. How we're also taking advantage this year of our full-time music teacher. We have worked it into her schedule where she gets to see all of the 2nd grades 2 times a week and all of the 3rd grades 2 times a week. So I'll talk a little bit about that in our celebrations. Oh, I got time? I don't got time. I don't know. Oh, okay. So our data teams have been running since the first full week of school. Our behavior support team meets weekly to monitor the data of students who are at risk. And our school social worker and school psychologist, oh, I'm really excited about this. So our school social worker and our school psychologists are pushing into each and every classroom to support Tier 1. And so they are targeting coping skills specifically for our students because we know that some of our students really are really passionate about how they feel, and so we just want to make sure that their passion is heard and is seen in really productive ways. And then at our Back to School Blast, our community school site coordinator, in conjunction with our academic coach, one of the things that we noticed from last year's school comprehensive education plan was that we planned for academic sort of events for our families, but those were never as well attended as our fun ones. So what we're starting to do now this year is at our fun events, we are giving our parents swag bags with academic stuff. So I'm really excited about that. So we're trying to link learning and fun. Oh, went the wrong way. Okay, so our celebrations. So what I was saying about our second and third grade teams, so where you see those buckets, those are our second graders. Our music teacher managed to get buckets and sticks for all of our second graders, and they are going to be learning about bucket drumming during their second music session. There's a fourth grade classroom next door, but we're gonna work that out. And then the second picture, you see the little guys, they're blowing bubbles into cups of water, and that's because our music teacher is going to make a third grade recorder ensemble, and our third graders are learning how to blow into recorders, and so each and every single third grader has a recorder, and they are going to learn how to play that recorder. And we're excited because they're going to have a concert at some point this school year, our little bucket drummers and our recorders. And so we had our Back to School Blast, which is one of our most successful events. We do have a lot of community partnerships that come and table for our families, and we also combine that with our fall open house. And so our teachers are in their classrooms and present about what the school year is going to be like for the families. And then the second half of that event is a place where our community agencies come in and share documents and information for our families. And we have fun too. We have a bouncy bounce, face paint, and lots of nice fun things. But that second picture are all the swag bags. So it's the book bags, and they were filled with books and lots of information. And we also held a makeshift parent university. Not a full-blown one, but our academic coach was there with some parent university materials for our families. So just to give you a sense of what our back-to-school blasts look like. And that is Sheridan Prep so far this school year.
Mrs. Adams, are you done?
That concludes our report. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. And thank you so much, Ms. Gil Sanchez. Okay, we are now up to public comment. And I will read the statement while our handy board clerk provides me with the names of people who've signed up. The Albany Board of Education welcomes district residents, parents, students, and other people to our meeting. Community involvement at board meetings is encouraged so that we can better understand your views. By law, individual student information and particular personnel issues cannot be discussed in public. We encourage you to share specific student or staff concerns with the superintendent or other appropriate staff. Please note that the board generally does not respond to public comment. If you need a response, please consider contacting us via email, phone, or postal mail. When recognized by the board president, please state your name and city of residence. Statements are restricted to a maximum of 3 minutes, and speakers will be notified by me when their time has expired. Julia Ferrant.
Good evening. I have notes because I'm kind of a nervous speaker. So I have 2 sons in the high school who started in the district in kindergarten, and I'm a little embarrassed to admit that this is my first board meeting, but I guess better late than never. I'm here to speak in favor of the Costa Rica trip for the high school. The packet that was provided to you detailing the trip, I'm sure, will explain all the imperatives of the curriculum and alignment and the student engagement. I want to speak to the human side of the trip. So first there's my son, who worked all summer to pay for his share of the expense. I'm proud of him for that. He actually would be here tonight, but the boys' soccer team has their senior recognition night, so he's there cheering on his friends. Then there's Mr. Vacanti, who for years has organized a safe, educational, and enjoyable experience for the kids. Then there's Mr. Vacanti's peers and the high school administration, who put together facts and documents and worked very hard as a team under a lot of pressure. I'm proud of them, and I'm happy that they are part of our district. And finally, there's Superintendent Adams, who in the face of a crowd of some frustrated parents 7 days ago, me, showed extensive patience, restraint, and professionalism as she explained the policies and procedures. Thank you, Ms. Adams. I'm sure in that first 5 minutes of that meeting, she probably thought, what did I get myself into? But she was able to pull that crowd of us into a calm state to be able to listen as she offered her assistance, her support, and her encouragement. So the board should be proud of her for that. And so as you evaluate the academic part of the Costa Rica request, I ask that you don't overlook the human and the personal side of everything that helped to build it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Joe Petrosic.
Good evening. Joe Petrozak, Area General Manager for First Student, and Superintendent Adams stole most of my thunder from my update, so some of this is going to sound redundant. Since the last board meeting that I attended, we met with the superintendent twice and discussed the progress of our on-time performance and staffing the drivers and monitors. We are currently hiring and training local Albany drivers and monitors for the bus routes. We've had 2 job fairs. We had one 2 weeks ago, and we just had one yesterday. We've gotten probably about 30 or 40 applicants in, but it is a long process to train somebody to be a bus driver. It takes upwards of 50 hours before they can start driving a bus for us. We've brought in 2 managers from outside the company or from other parts of the company to help us out with the daily operations of the location. We're still reassessing and streamlining some of the routes to make them more efficient. This is the first year that the district's done the routing, and we've been working in concert with them to get the routes streamlined and more efficient. Wherever we see issues, we bring those up to the district. And we are continuing to improve those routes every day and to continue to prove our on-time performance. Like I said, the superintendent had most of the notes from our meeting that we had last time, so most of those notes have already been talked about. Thank you.
And Mr. Petrozak, thank you for coming again. And now if you come next time, I promise as incentive, I will actually pronounce your name correctly.
That's
So
okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
My glasses on. Mr. Adikapula, was that close? Oh, thank you so much.
Right. So my name is Ashok Adikapula. I'm here to talk about the game of cricket. I don't know how many of you are aware of the game itself, but yeah, I had an opportunity to, to talk to Supervisor Adams
Can you-
last month.
If you just
Speak
lift up the mic towards your mouth, it would be easier. Thank you so much. Just speak into it.
Okay. Is it better now? Even more? Better now? Okay. All right. So, yeah, I wanted to start talking about this game as just a kind of an introduction. Um, the game of cricket actually exists forever. As far as the first game, it was held in New York City back in 1844. The first ever international sport ever competed by any nations was US and Canada. Then whatever happened, all the changes and shifting, the modern games took over. However, cricket still exists across the world. It's the second most popular game still across the world. But it's been a recreation sport, if not the professional sport in US. But the International Cricket Council is putting all the efforts for the last 1 year or so to make it a professional sport again. And they've been meeting constantly. The last town hall was held in Manhattan last month. I was one of the invitees, so we were there and we were talking about how all the planning and coordination, how the scholarships, and maybe eventually getting the players into certain jobs and everything. So they are talking to companies and they're also talking to all the scholarship programs. But the reason I'm here is, I'm the founder of Capital District Cricket Association. We have a league and we also have youth programs across the Capital District. We have fields in Clifton Park, we have fields in Schenectady, Albany, in New Baltimore, Ravenna. So we have about over 200 players on field every weekend between Saturday and Sunday. That's all adults. And we also have youth programs with Capital District YMCA. We've been training the age groups between 6 and 13, and we have Schenectady School District. It's an active school team, and we're working with North Colony and Shenandoah School Districts. I heard historically Albany High had a cricket team, and whatever happened fell apart, and we don't have, yeah. So whatever happened, and no team at this point, but as we are working with Shenandoah or North Colony, we are training the PE teachers. We could even do voluntary after-school programs to encourage the kids to participate in the sport. That's what I wanted to propose being here, but just so what we've been doing last couple years, we were actually promoting the sport, and we recently did a Mayor's Cup. Kathy Sheehan was presenting the trophies back in June, and we had about 200 plus spectators. So the game is picking up, but we need to promote from the grassroots level. I don't want to exceed. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lamaya Bodie. Okay, so that concludes routine consent. That concludes, public comment. That was really fast. We're out of here quick. So we are now on to routine consent. May I get a motion to accept routine consent? Ms. Wilson, seconded by Dr. Chatoor. Any set-asides? So my set-asides are the gift to Montessori, which I should be able to find in here if somebody knows the letter, L, and then also the HVCC addendum, which is you. Thank you. So it's X. Oh, sorry, it's X. I'm not usually the one doing set-asides. So other than L and X, anybody else? W. Okay, we're going to cross that off again. L and W are the set-asides. Any others? Ms. Smith. Yes, your mic. Yes, Ms. Smith has, it's okay, Ms. Smith has added Q. That's not the one you're, well, we'll wait. We have a lot of time. It was a short public comment. So then we only have those two set-asides. Okay. Can I get a motion, all those in favor of approving routine consent except for L and W? Jen? Ms. Lang, thank you. Okay. That is unanimous. May I get a motion to accept L, which is the Montessori gift? Ms. Savage, seconded by Dr. Chatoor. Any discussion? So that's me again. I'm talking to myself, yes. I wanted very much to, at this point, although I do not have children in Montessori, I think, and Ms. Savage normally does this, but with children in Montessori, I'm going to speak on behalf of the board in thanking the group for actually the funds. I apologize, I'm not able to, my thing is not scrolling properly. Thanks. Sorry for the technology issue.
Someday it'll open. Here, it's coming. It's coming.
Thank you. So I wanted to thank very much the Montessori Magnet School Community Council, which raised $27,150 to cover the purchasing and installation of the new playground equipment, and to just thank them for their commitment to the children of Montessori, their own children, and to basically a legacy for those who come after in using safe and new equipment at the school. All those in favor of approving L? That is unanimous. The set-aside that I had then for W, which was the HVCC addendum, was just, I was hoping, since Karen's smiling at me, Ms. Bechtel, since the information in the contract, again, spoke to what the goals were in the prior year in the measurables, and I want to again commend staff for actually, as a matter of course, putting in measurables, but since there was not sort of an explanation or something prospective as to how we would meet the goal going forward this year, which is an increase in the number of students who will attain a C or better, and we had how that will be achieved, what the plans are, given that last year we failed to meet our goal.
The regular contract has already been put forward?
It actually was, there was a discrepancy as to whether it had gone forward or not. Some had thought that it actually had been pulled, but Anna's checking.
Yeah, I can answer the question though.
And the reason is that at the time, because I thought it had been pulled, the question actually didn't come forward at the board meeting from me and from others. So I just wanted to see if we could just at least speak to what we're going to do a little differently this year to meet the increased goal that we have on the measurables.
One of the challenges with the Smart Scholars Grant, which is really where the Hudson Valley contract comes from, is that it had been supposed to cease a year and a half ago, and then at the sort of this springtime, they say, we're going to keep it going and do the funds again. So we quickly do the work plan and we try to recruit the kids to come in. So actually this past year was supposed to be the last year, and again, they've extended it one more year. But based upon the experience that we had last year recruiting kids to get into the summer program, because the bulk of these credits are occurring in the summer, is that the College and Career Coordinator is going to be doing far more active recruitment earlier in the year and with the parents, and not just the students themselves. I mean, we had kids say, yes, we want to do it. We arrange for the busing. We arrange for someone to actually be there. He is actually there on campus during the courses to offer them support. We do a field trip beforehand so that they're familiar with the resources there that they can access in order to be successful in their courses. So we're going to be more proactive about getting as many of our rising juniors and seniors to participate, as this will be the last summer, and this actually will, because SED is recreating this into an early college high school. It's a little bit of a different approach to the grant. But anyway, that's our plan.
Thank you, and that's nice to know about the transition that SED is going to be making. We look forward to hearing about that. All those in favor of approving W? So what is W? And that is unanimous, and that concludes routine consent. And Ms. Adams, do you want to speak to the administrators whom we've just approved as part of routine consent?
Madam President, members of the board, we have a few of our new administrators that have just been appointed here with us tonight. So we would be very happy if they would please stand. We have Jason Bray, who is one of the house principals at Albany High School. Suzanne Cornell, she is also a house principal at Albany High. And we have Jennifer Chatan, who is over at Myers Middle School. Thank you so very much, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Adams. We're up to emergency response plans, and is there anybody, is Mr. Rogan going to come there, or are we just going to go for a vote? I'll ask the board, does anybody have any questions about the plans that are up for action tonight? We had a discussion at the last board meeting. Okay, can I get a motion to accept the emergency response plans? Ms. Savage, seconded by Ms. Lang. All those in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you. We are now up to the financial statement audit. Mr. Hogan.
Good evening. I have with me this evening Alan Walther, who is a partner with the Bonadio accounting firm. His role, he is serving as the district's external auditor, so his role is to come in once a year and go through, audit all of our financial statements and put together what you have electronic documents of about 79 pages of financial statements, notes, and required communications. I do have bound copies for those board members that want a bound hard copy. Just shoot me an email. We didn't want to overkill the trees, so we have some of those if you'd like those. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Walther, who will give an overview of the financial statements.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Just to introduce myself, my name is Alan Walther. I'm a partner with the Bonadio Group. We are the school district's external auditors. I met with the audit committee last week and reviewed the financial statements in detail. We spent about 45 minutes or an hour together, went through the reports in detail. My presentation tonight will be the very condensed version of that. Our role as your auditors is threefold. We audit the financial statements of the school district and give an opinion on the financial statements. We consider the school district's internal control and compliance over their financial statement reporting, and we consider the school district's internal control and compliance with regard to its expenditures of federal dollars. We issued an unmodified opinion on the school district's financial statements, which is the highest level of assurance we can give on your financial statements. That is the audit report that all the users of the financial statements will be looking for, the state education department, the state controller's office, and any of the bond rating agencies. With regard to internal control findings, we had no internal control findings, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. And with regard to compliance, there were no compliance findings. And then finally, with regard to your federal programs, no internal control findings or compliance findings as well. So the overall results of the audit were favorable. A couple of the highlights of the audit: the general fund, which is the main operating fund of the school district. The fund, when we talk about the budget, we're talking about the general fund. The highlights with regard to the general fund: the fund balance at the end of the year was $33.975 million. $7,945,000 was unassigned fund balance. That falls within the New York State limitation of to be less than 4%. I believe it was about 3.3%. The school district appropriated $5,850,000 of its fund balance to balance the 2018 budget. The total general fund budget for 2017 was approximately $240 million and was underspent by $5.2 million. I'd like to thank Bill and his staff as well. The audit is a collaborative effort, and we can't audit what isn't produced by the business office, and they did an excellent job in assisting us. Any questions from the board?
It looks like there are none.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Walther. Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Ms. Savage, I'm going to turn it over to you for a discussion of policy number 8 on our agenda.
So tonight, the Policy Committee presents 3 policies for discussion. I also note that 2 of the policies have accompanying regulations documents, and drawing your attention to, for those who don't recall, regulations documents are more specific than policies and are defined by the staff rather than the board. But our objective from the Policy Committee is to get all of the regulations on board docs so that they are transparent and available to all parents, so parents can understand and community members can understand exactly what the regulations are that are governing the behavior of the district. So the 3 that are before you is 6700 purchasing. 6700 is required by law to be reviewed annually. It falls in Mr. Hogan's purview, and he did review that policy for us and recommended that we incorporate 3 methods of purchasing that had been previously granted by the board by resolution and just put them in the policy so that everything is in one place. And that change is also reflected in the regulation. The second one we have for discussion tonight, and I remind everyone that we discussed tonight with the expectation that we would act at the following board meeting so that members of the public who wish to have any input can do so in between. 2150, board vacancy. This is a very, very simple change. It's just simply a date change. Because of the change of the election date of board members, we had to change the vacancy completion date. And finally, 1120, school district records and its related regulation. This is essentially the FOIL policy and also the policy defining how long we maintain student records. So there is a minor change that was recommended by the New York State School Boards Association, clarifying that the superintendent's responsible for conveying the records retention policy to staff, which it goes without saying anyway, but they recommended that that be incorporated into the policy, which we have done. And the regulation has been updated to clarify the fact that while electronic documents, if they're already prepared, it's a simple matter of hitting a button and sending them out. In reality, when something's foiled, that doesn't actually happen because many times people foil things that have student data. So they then have to be printed and manually redacted and then copied and then sent out. So there is a cost to the district of that we are legally allowed to recoup, and we believe we should recoup. And that is incorporated into the regulation for 1120. So that is what we present to you for discussion with the expectation that we would discuss it tonight and act on it in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Ms. Savage. Any questions, comments? Doesn't appear that there are. Okay. We're moving on now to the Albany High School course offerings.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, there you go.
Good evening. There were 2 courses proposed and approved by the scheduling committee at Albany High School. You should have received all the paperwork in the packet. The first course was AP Studio Art. This was a course that will complete the 3D sequence and provide the students in the 3D art courses with college credit. So it is a part of a sequence. It will challenge students to take the AP course and, as I said, provide the college credit. So as I said, it completes that sequence. The second course is one that I'm very excited about. It's the Computer Science Essentials course that will occur in the 9th grade as a part of Project Lead the Way. We have needed a computer science strand. We will start with this course at that 9th grade level and then propose for the following year a second course which would be in computer science principles. So I'll be here at this table next year because I suspect this is going to be very successful. And then look to expanding those computer science offerings as we move forward. We need more opportunities for our kids to learn how to code or to take the coding that they already know how to do and do it better. So those are the 2 courses proposed, and I don't have anything else to say unless you have some questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bechtel. I'll open it for questions. Any questions? Ms., you're going to go, Ellen? Oh, okay, sure. Ms. Roach.
Sure. I just had a question about the age range because I think I might have read the course proposal form wrong. It said the special scheduling considerations. It says students would have to be in grades 10 through 12. I read that to mean for this initial essentials course. It sounds like you're saying the essentials course is open to everyone, but it would be a prerequisite to future courses.
Yes, it would be the first in the sequence.
So would this course be only for freshmen, or would it be for anyone?
The design is to implement in 9th grade. I don't know the answer to that question, but I can certainly get that from Ms. O'Connor and Ms. Gatto at the high school.
Okay. And is this something that's been, it sounds like Project Lead the Way has implemented this course at other high schools?
Yes, I mean, as you can see, it has a comprehensive course description. The syllabus is here, and yes, it would have been offered in other places.
Okay, thank you. I just had also just a brief question about the 3D art class. It looks like a lot of the material and the syllabus for the 3D art class maybe applies to two-dimensional art. It talks about, you know, the size of the works being matted in 18 by 24 and done in pencil or ink or whatever. So you might want to check the syllabus and make sure that it's updated for the sort of sculpture and three-dimensional crafting things. That's it. Thanks so much.
Anyone else? Ms. Lang.
I was just wondering if you could kind of walk me through the process of how a new course gets submitted and the decision for selecting these two, or if there are other courses that were brought forward that did not make it, just the process.
What we do is it could come from two different directions. It can be very teacher-sponsored. Both of these would be a very teacher-sponsored kind of course suggestion. It can also come from the instructional supervisors or the principals as they're thinking about building the program and building a sequence. So what occurs is there's a deadline, usually in September, but people really start thinking about this generally in the spring. They want to have the summer to create. If it's homemade, these are with AP and the Project Lead the Way, the curriculum is already set. But in a course that might come a little more organically, they give you a sense of the syllabus, they build it, but they don't want to go too crazy until they know that they've been approved. So they'll do that work, there'll be a deadline in September. It will go to the scheduling committee, and the scheduling committee will consider the courses that are up front. I believe there were 6 this year, and these 2 were chosen, but I cannot speak to the 4 that weren't. If you'd like to know more about that, I'd be happy to put that in the update. We have been very careful over the years. I've been here in this process for several years now, because we want to make sure that the courses aren't standalone, that they're part of a pathway, part of a sequence, part of something that we're doing, rather than something that will divide the interests of kids, rather than provide that pathway that they need. So I know that the scheduling committee took that into consideration as they consider which course proposals they put forward.
Dr. Chatoor?
Thank you. I'm really excited to see new opportunities being offered to our students. I'm really excited about the computer science course because, you know, from the perspective of somebody who's out in the field of data analytics is huge. Mm-hmm. There are tons of job opportunities out there, and pretty much everybody's already doing it. And if we don't get our kids to be part of that fray, we'd be lagging behind. In terms of languages, are we also going to be thinking about teaching them Linux and Java and some of the other ones, other than just Python? It only talked about Python in the syllabus, that's what I was asking.
Right, I wouldn't be able to speak to the computer languages that are included, but I think to your point, you're right. We need to do more in this field. I know that, and we are going to pursue getting that together and providing the kinds of the languages and the skills that the kids need. There's so many kids that have these skills already. They come to us ready. These kinds of courses in computer science are going to be open to far more students because the kids themselves come and already have many pieces
And
of the
it's
skill
not just the
set.
kids who want to go into engineering or something who need these courses.
Yes.
Even the kids who are doing biology, if they learn how to do informatics, I mean, you could pair this up with a high school, a summer program in one of the colleges where they can do research
Right.
internships, and they could take their computer science skills and apply it to real world data, and it's a win-win situation for both parties in there. So there'll be lots of opportunities that could be additionally created on top of this.
Yes.
I
Ms. Savage?
just want to do a quick pitch for computer languages and the non-essentialness of that question. Eventually, people do need languages, but as a programmer, I'll tell you that as long as you've got the fundamentals, I'm backing you up here, Karen, as long as you've got the fundamental analytical reasoning mechanism in your head, you can translate that from one language to another relatively easily. He's nodding back there. He actually knows, right? So that's what this course should be teaching, is how to make computers work, how to think like a computer. And once you've done that, switching it from one language to another as the languages change is a relatively fluid thing.
Anyone else? Even second bites, Ms. Lang?
And this is just updating from the email or the question that I asked earlier. I know that we do have an IB review, and if the review comes out with something that's needed or going in a different direction, we have the ability to do something there, possibly.
And I did get that question. The way that it works is that the courses are approved and sort of sitting on the books, so to speak, so they don't have to go through a new course proposal process where really you're a year out because this won't be implemented now until next September. Those courses that you're referring to, the higher level IB courses, do exist and but are contingent upon enrollment.
So it looks like there are no more questions. I'm just going to thank you, as they did, for the computer work and for the work at the high school to move us into the 21st century. It's, people have asked for years out in the public when we were going to do this kind of work. And thank you for bringing it forward and for really pushing it. And it's a good day that the high school is actually now going to teach that. And not just students who also have that background, but for those students for whom, regular classwork might not work, but they can be whiz kids that we don't even expect, whiz kids when they're working with computer. It's just that natural thing for them. And so we're just so thrilled that avenue exists. And I see Ms. Smith to my left is moving her pen. No? Oh. Ms. Roach.
Just kind of generally, I noted that part of the computer course budget involves paying someone for... Okay. Involves paying someone for training to teach the course. And I wondered if you could speak generally, are you going to be looking for a math teacher to teach the course or a technology teacher? Has a decision been made in terms of a staff member or what we would be looking for? It sounds like it's going to be an existing teacher.
It will assuredly be an existing teacher. That's probably one of the reasons why this course came forward. And so we would have that person get the training that they need and they'll be ready to go.
Excellent. Do we know how many sections of this course we might offer?
It would
be starting with one?
Contingent upon the course requests.
Okay. Thank you so much.
As we call it, interest-driven, student-driven. Thank you so much. We're up to our summer school presentation. Before we do summer school presentation, I wanted to actually go back now to our number 7, which is the discussion audit of financial statements. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept, actually, our financial statements as presented. Ms. Wilson, and seconded by Ms. Roach. All those in favor? Thank you so much for that housekeeping. We don't usually do discussion and action on the same night, but there is an October 15th deadline. So thank you all for that. We are now up to the middle school, high school, summer school results / presentation. We're going to start. Oh, okay. do we need a, do we, so we're going to do middle school right now. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here. I have to my left Patricia Linden. She is the co-coordinator for the Summer Start program for our middle school students. The other co-coordinator is Nicole Biette. She's no longer with us, so she left the district. So Patricia will be presenting tonight alongside me, and I'm going to turn over the mic to her. I do want to give her a shout out. She did a phenomenal job this summer, pulling everything together and closing out summer school and putting the presentation together, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Trisha Linden. During the school year, my day job is a math teacher and curriculum team leader over at Hackett Middle School. But this summer I had the opportunity to be one of the co-coordinators for the middle school summer start program at Myers Middle School. So just a little bit about the program. We saw a big increase in enrollment this year at the middle school level. The previous summer we had 184 students in the summer school program. This year at our highest number we had 224 students, although we finished the summer with 211 students. This year we had an increase in teachers as well, so we had 26 teachers. We started the summer with 2 hall monitors and ended the summer with 5 hall monitors. We had on board with us a nurse, typist. We had all 3 homeschool coordinators from the middle schools, and then of course there were the 2 coordinators for the program. So this year, when we started to plan the summer school program, we really wanted to talk about a culture shift for the middle school summer school program, and that was a shift away from the concept of credit recovery and towards the concept of re-engaging our students in the school process. And we wanted to focus less on skills and more on getting our students at such a critical age to buy back into the school process, to re-engage, to form relationships with adults, and to really want to come back to school in the fall. And so we had a couple shifts in the program this year in order to do that. So we moved away from what we've previously done in the middle school summer program, which is to just have English and math classes, and instead we had co-taught humanities and STEM blocks. So we paired together an English teacher with a social studies teacher, we paired together a science teacher with a math teacher, and we trained all the teachers for 2 days before we started on project-based learning. So we encouraged the teachers to get the kids using technology, to use the space that we had at Myers Middle School. We had kids outside. We had kids flying paper airplanes to measure distance versus time. We had kids making pamphlets to travel around the world and get much more engaged in the learning process. We also added 2 new elements to the program, which was a social emotional piece and a physical health piece. So every student, every day, got a 30-minute advisory period. It was no bigger than 10-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, and we worked with our school social worker, Diane Wyatt, who helped us put together a curriculum. At the beginning of the week, we talked about pre-setting, goal setting, coping skills, and then throughout the week we worked with them on self-reflection and improving behaviors and things that got them frustrated throughout the day. We also had our physical education teacher who provided 30 minutes of phys ed for our kids every day. It allowed them to get some of that energy out. She also taught them some yoga and stress management techniques, which our teachers enjoyed just as much as the students. And we saw a big decrease in the classroom behavior issues because our kids had that opportunity to get a little bit of that energy out and reset before going back into the classroom. We also had an increase in our in-district staff, and everyone who knows in the summer program, the teachers who know our kids and know our buildings and know our policies make for a more productive summer program. And because we had co-teach classes, we were able to have an Albany district teacher in all but one of our classrooms. So there was always someone in the room who was an expert on the things that we do. And the results in my opinion, were a huge increase in our promotion rate. So we had 211 students in the program, and at the end of the summer, 206 of those students passed both of their classes and were promoted to the next grade. We did face some challenges. One of the changes that we tried to introduce was field trips. We wanted to take the kids to different colleges around the area and start the college conversation earlier in their career. And while an excellent idea in theory, there were some challenges when it came time for execution. First of all, having a 3-hour summer school day doesn't provide a ton of time to get students to Schenectady, Troy, and then back in time. In addition, we were predominantly serving students who, in retrospect, have not been students who were often taken on the field trips, which means there hasn't been a ton of modeling for them about appropriate behavior on a field trip, what it looks like, how to behave on a college tour, how to travel on a school bus. And so after our first attempt at the field trip, 2 of the 3 colleges who were working with us felt it was no longer a good fit for them to be coming, and so we no longer had our Friday field trips. But we used that Friday to become a PBIS incentive day. So all of our teachers were tracking students on their behaviors, and we just sort of repurposed those days into providing some type of benefit for our kids who were following expectations. Our second challenge was transportation this past summer. So we switched from using a combination of CDTA and yellow busing to exclusively using the CDTA system this summer. And we gave every student a monthly bus card, which is a paper cardboard style bus card. And we had middle schoolers. So on around day 2, those were all gone. And we were lacking a system to replace those for kids. In addition, it wasn't a great summer to have kids traveling up and down Whitehall. If anyone takes Whitehall, they ripped up the entire road. And we had 6th graders who were coming to us from feeder elementary schools. Some of these kids had never taken CDTA before. Between their parents and their own fears, that creates a lot of anxiety for students who are already upset to be part of a summer school program. So moving forward, we were talking about making sure that the yellow buses are available for our younger students and that we utilize the ID transportation system that we use during the school year for CDTA. It would only require us to provide IDs to we had 12 students this year who weren't in-district students. They either went to Blessed Sacrament or Albany Community Charter School. So we had a pre and post test that we administered at summer school. We met with Jen Houlihan on the humanities side to identify power standards for ELA. And then I worked with John Slyer and Sue Tumanaro, the middle level math coach, for the pre-test and post-test for the math power standards. We picked 5 power standards for each grade level. And then after the pre-test, teachers picked 1 power standard per week, and then they progress monitored that specific standard. So their projects were tying into these power standards. And then we administered the post-test the last week of school. We didn't have 100% of our students who were there the first week, and they're the last week to take the post-test. But we had about 160 students worth of data to look at the end of the summer. And we saw about an average of a 10% growth in proficiency over the course of the summer. All the tests were made of New York State test questions, so we saw an increase in their ability to handle those level of questions. And on the PBIS side, we were consistently seeing students meeting their weekly targets and being eligible for the PBIS incentives. So some of the program changes that we have been talking about, we've already talked about transportation. Now that we have 3 middle schools fully up and running, that is a lot of assistant principals at the middle school level. The assistant principals know the students, and they have the administrative background to have a better understanding of how the district works and how some of the things at central office work, which is sometimes challenging when you are a classroom teacher by day. And so we were talking about incorporating those assistant principals to make it a bit of a smoother process. And then taking smaller bites out of the field trip idea and keeping them to just single grade levels. Myers Middle School has hosted middle school summer school for years. and there is some wear and tear on a building that goes into hosting summer school. They allowed us to use their Chromebook carts. We used their computer lab every day. We use all the technology available to us in their classrooms, and some teachers are happier to share their classrooms than others, which I understand. And we were talking about moving forward as we start to have, 3 fully functioning larger middle schools, perhaps rotating the building responsibility to alleviate some of that tension. And then we had 3 homeschool coordinators. They're such excellent resources. They know the kids, they know our families, they know the area of Albany, and unfortunately, they share their vacation days with their building principals. So we ended up quite often on Fridays and Mondays, the days when we most needed them, to be without homeschool coordinators. So instead of requiring all of them to be there all summer and having their vacation days overlap, perhaps assigning each one of them a 2-week stint over the summer school program so that they can still fit in their vacation time. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you so much, Ms. Linden. It's a pleasure to meet you, and it was a pleasure to hear your presentation. Ms. Wilson?
Hello, it was a very nice presentation.
Hi, thank you.
So regarding the college conversation, was there any consideration given to possibly bringing the college to the school, or maybe interfacing with some current students, grad students that need community service hours and things of that nature?
We had talked about that originally when we were trying to restructure Fridays after the first Friday didn't go so well. We had talked about Schenectady Community College had put together a wonderful presentation for us, and they were the school that was still willing to work with us, and they were willing to go in either direction, but we had just decided that for this summer we were going to not try to plan something on the fly and not do a fully thorough job of it, but as we move forward, incorporating colleges in a bit of an easier way to give the students small doses of that college experience. And we were talking about, bringing in a college fair, maybe having the local schools come and bring some of their students or some of their elements of their school that makes them worth visiting.
Dr. Jator?
Great presentation. 2 small questions. When you look at the increase in proficiency,
Sure.
like all the other grades are great except for the 7th grade that had lower numbers. What was special about that cohort? Was it just the age group?
So 7th grade, I was a 7th grade teacher for 3 years. I just consider myself promoted to 8th grade. 7th grade is a tough year for a few reasons. You have students who have started middle school at the 6th grade level and are experienced middle schoolers. Then you also have elementary school students who are adjusting to middle school for the first time. And what you usually see is a spike in numbers. So they were our biggest group, so their class sizes were the largest. And there's still some of those kids who are just still adjusting to middle school. So their success rate was fairly high. I think there were only 2 students who did in the 7th grade who didn't pass both classes, but we didn't quite see the larger gains that we were looking for there.
But hopefully going forward that'll be fixed because we are trying to bring them all on the same.
Absolutely. And by 8th grade, they know what they're doing.
Right. And what happened between week 2 and week 3? Why did we lose some of the kids? And then we got more back. So what
I think week 3 was right smack dab in the middle of summer school. I would never blame the weather, but it was a really rainy week, and a lot of our classes couldn't be outside. Many of our teachers were holding advisory outside, so the kids would actually go outside for a half hour of the day. That's where they would sit and talk with their teacher. They got that break. And so I personally would blame the rain, but you could also say it's that halfway point. It was feeling like we're just never going to get to the end of this a little bit, and then they pulled it together at the end.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Lang?
How many kids were eligible for summer school, or did you send out information, and then how many of those attended?
So the way it works for the elementary schools that have a 6th grade, we send a letter out to all those principals, and they recommend students from their schools. In past years, because our sixth grade group is usually pretty small, we've allowed any student that gets recommended to become a part of the summer school program. This year, we only accepted the sixth grade students if it said on their principal recommendation form that without summer school, they were not going to be promoted to the next grade. For the 7th and 8th grade levels, it's any student who fails more than one core class. In past years, we haven't allowed students who failed all of their core classes to be a part of summer school because of the length of the program. But this year, we allowed those students to come to summer school and get the extra enrichment. And so that's why I think our numbers were higher. It's tough to be exact on the eligibility because we asked guidance counselors for the data at the end of May, and a lot of kids really pulled it together in the month of June and are able to pull their fourth quarter grades up and not need summer school. So when we were originally looking at numbers at the end of May and early June, we were in the 300s in terms of eligibility. But then when it actually came time to register, the numbers were smaller, which some of it is due to students not coming to summer school, and others are due to students who increased their grades enough in the fourth quarter to not need summer school.
Yes, Dr. Chatour started that pattern of 2, so please, you can take 2, it's early enough.
When does the recruitment for summer school actually start? When do the principals get notified? When do parents get told that, does this start like, in December if you don't, third?
So we include it with the third quarter report cards at the middle school level. So in their third quarter report card is something from their guidance counselor with their current averages and what they'll need to get in the fourth quarter if they don't want to fail that course for the year. So that's the first communication that parents get, that their child isn't on track to pass for the year. At the elementary level, the sixth graders who are still in elementary school, that's done by the principals in late May. Then we have to wait until we have fourth quarter grades finalized to know exactly which kids need summer school. And so there is a short turnaround there. Their grades are finalized. This year their grades were finalized June 23rd, and I think they had about 6 or 7 days until there was summer school registration. So in the fourth quarter report cards, we put all the registration paperwork, and then our guidance counselors do an incredible job. They call every student after the first day of registration, every student who qualifies for summer school but hasn't shown up so far. They call them, make sure that they know about summer school. Our homeschool coordinators went to houses with registration paperwork for parents who were unable to come in for registration. And so we had registration at Myers, but our guidance counselors also did registration at the 3 home middle schools for any parents who went there instead.
And what percentage do you think of the
Oh,
kids
we're on
came?
to 3. I'm not trying to be difficult, but you got to hold it. I'm really sorry. So, Ms. Roach.
I had just wanted to ask about this advisory period and ask how that worked out, whether it was positive for the kids, if something like that is happening at all during the school year in a different form.
So we've tried it in different forms. I know at Hackett there was an advisory period at some point. We currently have an enrichment period that has a second step element to it right now. I know all the schools have a second step program. We found it successful in the sense that we didn't see as many in-class discipline issues because the kids had an advisory teacher who was one of their teachers throughout the day. So they knew there was that one teacher that they had a relationship with that they could go to. We found it successful. We would recommend it moving forward, especially for our summer school students who are usually most in need academically and on the social emotional side, because a lot of them, we were talking about how it's those skills, those soft skills, that may have been the reason that they weren't successful academically.
Ms. Smith?
Yes, this is just great. And I'm really excited about the focus on re-engaging our kids. I was also concerned about the college component, and I wondered, it's another sort of bigger piece that I don't even want to suggest, except that I was wondering about some sort of mentor kind of relationship with, say, our college campuses. I'm thinking of STEP and C-STEP and Liberty Partnership programs that are existing, where there are youngsters, already on those campuses who maybe as part of their experience could, work with our middle schoolers, particularly around going to the colleges. And almost each college has those programs, already contained. So, you know, you work with SUNY, they've already got it. You work with Schenectady College, perhaps there's something. Again, I think that's a bigger piece that can be unwieldy, but I'm just thinking about other youngsters that are not quite their peers, but you know, they have a cool factor.
Oh, absolutely.
And they could be
It was an incredible moment. We were at Schenectady Community College, and a college student was walking down the stairs, and he saw Mr. Frost, who's one of our homeschool coordinators. He's at Hackett Middle School, and he turned around and he went, "Mr. Frost!" And he ran down the stairs to hug him, and all the kids got to see that this was an Albany kid who was now going to school, and he talked to the kids for a while. So it would absolutely, I think that's a great idea, to get the kids to have relationships with those students.
If I could add, there are some fraternities and sororities that we could get in the mix. I'm happy to help with that if, you know, but
Absolutely.
just saying. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Savage.
I just wanted to acknowledge the performance gains that you showed on this slide here. You know, we often hear the elementary school, summer school, they're just desperately trying to maintain right over the summer, just trying to prevent loss. So to see gains, I mean, these are kids who, for the most part, failed their classes the prior year and made gains over a 4-week period. It's fantastic. And I think it really goes to what several people had said about engagement, but also what I think you spoke to yourself about, access to the outside and connection with teachers. And I look forward to hearing how we're going to build on that during the school year, because it is a real challenge for our middle school students who go from being in an elementary school where they're expected to have recess to a middle school where they don't, and a half an hour longer school day. And I know you didn't want to blame it on the rain. I blame it on the rain. Right there, that's the rain, right? That's the kids never getting outside. And that's only a 3-hour day. And our regular middle school day is a 6.5-hour day. So it's a lesson to be learned.
Ms. Wilson, anything else? Dr. Chatour? Ms. Lang?
Yeah, just my percentage of how many were asked and how many do you think came?
I don't want to guess, so I could get the exact number for you, and I can get back to you, so I can tell you.
Put it in the in a school board update.
Ms. Roach?
No other questions.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Savage? So I just wanted to, first I wanted to welcome you, Ms. London. That was wonderful to hear you present, to meet you, and then to get such a great presentation, and to sort of echo and build on what Ms. Savage said. So for years we've had summer school presentations that recently started being much better, and actually being so much better. And we were instructed by Dr. Wilson Turner about the expectations of summer school. I will then yield my time to the Assistant Superintendent for Elementary Education.
Only because I just whispered to Karen, I said, you will see gains in summer school in the pre and post assessments that occurred during summer school. But when we show you data from when the child left in spring to when the child arrives in the fall, we don't see those gains translate. And so the goal there is to maintain. But during summer school, absolutely, the pre and post data should show growth based on what we were focused on in school.
That's pre and post.
I didn't mean to not be like, I was just trying to clarify because I misunderstood what that was on that slide. That
Those
growth are only the assessments that you did in summer school. So we don't yet know because we haven't done the NWA.
We're still
fall
doing
NWAs,
fall NWA at the middle
but we
school
will
level.
know that at some point soon. Thank you, Cecily, because I had misunderstood that.
To the extent, however, that the engagement piece, which people have spoken about, actually creates the buy-in so that when children return to school in the fall, their attendance is there from the beginning because of the experience they've had in summer school. I had chills when you spoke, so I don't. But the idea that we are actually doing something during the summer that allows our children to be ready to attend, show up, and then start learning in the fall, that itself is a miracle for at least my experience in this district. It's not that the program isn't good during the year or elsewhere, but that's been a real trough for us in terms of summer school. And so looking at it in the way that you all have to create the program you have seems to be addressing where the needs are, so that when there's the full academic year where you really can get the academic work done, that then there isn't that kind of being behind the 8 ball for a while starting out. So thank you so very, very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
High school.
round 2, high school. So it's my pleasure to introduce our almost academy principals starting tomorrow. Jason Bray and Suzanne Cornell. They have done an amazing job as the coordinators or assistant principals of coordinating the summer school this year. This was the first year that we had the assistant principals coordinating summer school, and they've actually done an amazing job, first time doing this program. So I just want to publicly thank the two of you for the amazing job that you did, and I'll turn it over.
All right, so we'll begin tonight's presentation with our program. Actually, let me go back. Our program description. So our high school program began July 5th to August 15th. It was actually Monday through Thursday, so that is a correction on the supporting documentation. From 8 to 12:25, we had 3 periods daily, 85 minutes each, and breakfast and lunch were served as part of the district-wide food service program for the summer. Our Regents Review class is offered daily, beginning July 19th to August 16th, from 12:30 to 2:30. Regents exams were from August 16th, and they were August 16th and 17th. The program included students in grades 9th through 12th, and Albany residents from parochial and private schools. We had staff, our instructional staff, 41, and our non-instructional supports were 16 staff members. And to break that down just a little bit more, we had 30 teachers, 1 social worker, 1 school nurse, 1 librarian, and that was actually a job share situation. One of our librarians took July and the other one took August. And we did have some other opportunities that teachers participated in to job share as well. We had 1 APEX coordinator, 4 6-week APEX teachers, 4 4-week APEX teachers, 1 senior hall monitor, 10 hall monitors, 3 sub-hall monitors, 1 teaching assistant, 25 Regents scorers, and 75 Regents proctors. Our total budget, $442,000, a little over, right? Our total expenditures came in lower, $383,751. And with that, we had Title I and General Fund. We had Title I salaries and fringe estimated at $92,350. We had salary and fringe from General Fund at $283,111. And then part of our budget, again, was transportation costs, supplies.
All right, when we look at our numbers, we had a total enrollment of 680 students. That included students predominantly that had signed up to take the exams. Listed in this chart, the students that sat for courses totaled 136. So you can see the breakdown there. It just totals that the exams and courses total up to 383, and the exams and courses plus the courses only 519. And then the breakdown of the demographics, the IEP, 504, and ENL students. And we'll talk a little bit more about our numbers a little bit further in the presentation.
Sure. The next slide is our breakdown of demographics that are pulled directly from our student management system. So at the bottom, we do have our totals, 680 students who were enrolled. And to just go back, that's total enrollment for coursework and Regents. So some of our students took just courses, some took just Regents, and then we have a combination of both. All right. We have 680 students enrolled, 62 students Asian Pacific Islander, 373 students Black, African American, 110 Hispanic students, 3 American Indian or Alaskan Native, 0 Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, 110 white students, and then 22 unclassified students.
All right, as we talk about strengths and challenges of the program, so strengths were that we were able to offer small classes, and in addition, many of our classes this year were co-taught, so students had the advantage of getting individualized and differentiated instruction and attention. This year we had special education teachers that provided push-in support and pull-out support as needed based on students' accommodation needs. This year, we had 2 English as new language teachers. Last year, there weren't any in the program, unfortunately. So that was a great benefit, and they provided pull-out and standalone immersion courses for students, and they just did an outstanding job. And then in addition, APEX, our online computer coursework, was very highly populated, and again, we have the 4-week program and the 6-week program. The 6-week program were for students taking an entire course or retaking it, so to speak. The 4-week was for the last quarter credit recovery so that students could earn the credit. And again, I think that really increased this year, and I can see that it will continue to increase and provides a great opportunity for our students. Challenges included, I mentioned our numbers. So we had a significant number of students that signed up for the Regents exams. Our numbers, we felt, were a little bit low, just slightly lower than last year. So a challenge was recruitment of students and hiring. We, being new to this process, we're learning the systems in place with our guidance counselors and the dates within which they recruit. Again, you asked that of middle school, when they start sending letters, having conversations with students. And Mr. Bray and I found it was hard to really get a static number, some projections. Next year, we would hope to work with guidance a little bit earlier on. However, with the data dashboards that we use, the at-risk students, we were very proactive in having our homeschool coordinators go out to houses, have the guidance counselors do those extra letters and phone calls. So I think our recruitment efforts went very well. We do wish, working with night school, our night school population, they came out for summer school, right? We just hoped more people had actually come and sat for the courses.
And just to go back about our projected enrollment, because that was a question again that came up, we were looking third quarter at the at-risk reports, the dashboards, and we did have projections, all right? But again, much like middle school, the closer you get to those regents and those final days of handing in work, those numbers decrease, okay? So again, it is hard to get that accurate projection. After regents are finished, our guidance counselors do send letters home, but again, the turnaround is so short, and to increase our enrollment efforts, we actually extended the enrollment window for our students, and we were able to pull in some more students as a result of that too.
So speaking to the next slide, metrics that, as we do during the school year, that we were tracking and progress monitoring for summer included our graduation rate and our Regents pass rate. Unfortunately, for this presentation, we are not able to publish that information because it is currently embargoed. Both the Regents exams and the graduation rate. Okay. So with that said, though, one highlight that we could address were the course pass rates. So as you can see, comparing last year's summer school with this year's summer school, almost all but 2 courses did see an increase in the pass rate. So we felt that that was a success.
Sure, one of the proposed changes for this current year that we were not able to tackle, again, being very new and sort of strategizing, right, making sure that we had students in courses and students enrolled in regents. We were not able to get the extended 10th grade program off the ground. We would recommend that in the future. Because we do feel that if we're able to pull in more of those 10th grade students, we will be able to see them, reach that expectation, so that way they can go into their following year with their cohort.
Can I speak to that?
Of course.
Again, that was something that I know Dr. Wilson Turner and Ms. Ghetto had talked about, really providing that enrichment. And as I was listening to the middle school presentation, I think also in addition to what Mr. Bray said, it's really that engagement piece. So part of our metrics are focusing on what we call the freshman 5 and then our graduation. And so we are really looking at the students in the middle, particularly 10th grade. What are we doing to really give that extra push in that year? So I'm really excited really of working on that proposal where we too could provide an extended day and enrichment and presentations and field trips. And Ms. Smith, all your offerings for middle school with, we have, we have a Liberty Partnership, but all, right, working together, that would be outstanding for those students. So I really hope that's something we can get off the ground. And again, it was included in the budget, so we would love to see it again in the budget, and so that we could use those funds. All right. I'm just throwing it out there.
So one of our recommendations for next year is actually a reduction. This year we were able to put in a 1.0 FTE for a school social worker, and we just did not utilize them to their fullest potential, all right? So we're thinking that moving that down to a 0.5 position in the following year. As you know, you can never, students come in with a myriad of issues, right? And at any moment, anyone can be in crisis. So again, but with that said, we're looking to reduce that position by 0.5. The resources needed to support the program, again, teaching and support staff for the 10th grade program, we really do feel that that could be an incredible boon to the summer school as we progress forward. And as Ms. Cornell said, funding for enrichment, field trips, presentations. We did actually have our ENL teachers request a field trip, and that was something that we were entertaining. It was to the local library, okay, so they could get their library cards. So obviously, yes, progressing forward, making sure that providing those enrichment opportunities for our students, our ENL population that we'll retain at the high school too, would be a wonderful effort. So the impact on the budget, again, staffing costs, including benefits, maintaining, decreasing. Moving forward, again, based on enrollment totals at that nth hour, right, we're looking at how that's going to impact the overall budget, since there is a significant portion of the budget allocated to staffing, all right? We are looking to decrease that again, and hoping that we can provide more accurate enrollment totals, right? So that way we are hiring appropriately. Our instructional resources, we are looking to maintain or increase that as well. And again, that would go to field trips and enrichment activities as well. Transportation, similarly to the middle school, all right? We're looking to increase the transportation costs. A hard part was getting some of our students to the building, physically to the building. And I believe that a lot of our students would have attended if they were able to get that. We did slightly increase some transportation costs to make sure that more students had access, all right? So we were able to get them swipers, and without that, they wouldn't have been able to participate, so. And with that, questions?
Thank you so much. I'll start on this side, Mr. Roach.
Just no questions. Thanks for the work you're doing with the summer school.
Ms. Lang.
I think my questions for the middle school were kind of, similar, or at least you answered some of those from them. So thank you, and you laid out very well what you thought you needed, and so that was helpful.
Dr. Chatur.
I always like the outliers, so my question goes back to those two courses that didn't do well, algebra and living environment.
Speaking first to living environment, the scores overall in June as well, I'm wondering if it was a hard exam because our numbers fell a little bit from the June exam as well. For algebra overall, though, our scores had increased from June. From the June numbers looked very, very good. So I wanted to look into that a little bit more too. I was surprised about that one in particular with algebra. Is there anything that you wanted to add to that?
Ms. Wilson.
Very nice presentation
Oh,
again.
thank you.
In your analysis and recommendation, you mentioned about improving on the current system as recommended that students eligible for summer school are